pressing it here now.
Yeah.
Now I'm recording. I was just finding the button. So now my next thing is if I can share it. I'm meant to be sharing on Facebook. For some reason it's not even allowing me to do that, but that's okay. I can do it another way. Okay. So now, can everyone see the screen and everything? I just want to make sure that I can get in the chat box as well. Okay. I have to minimize that for a minute. Okay, so I'm Lucy Townsley and welcome to this webinar about biohacking your menopause. So we're going to be looking at menopause and perimenopausal symptoms and how they affect you and when they start, etc. So I'd love it if you just turn off your phones and distractions, but if you can turn on your camera, so it would be great. It's really lovely to see everyone's faces when we're doing these webinars. It's really great. I can see you. So understanding your body, your body's wisdom, understanding what your body is saying to you is really key to your health and a healthy menopause. It really, we tend to ignore what our bodies are saying. So if we have lower back pain, this in China, I am a Chinese medicine practitioner as well. This can indicate that we have some issues going on with our kidney health. I'm going to go a lot more into that as we go through this. So also your period is an indicator of how healthy you are. So generally, as we head into our late 30s, early 40s, our periods can start to go a bit wonky. The cycles can become shorter or they can become really heavy. And this isn't right. This is an indication that you're possibly heading into perimenopause. This is the early stages of your menopause. And it's important to understand why you are feeling the way you do. So if you do feel like this, it's important to research it, to GP and find out what's going on. So menopause and perimenopause really gets a bad rap. We get called terrible names in the press, or even what people say about women going through menopause, like old hags, dried up, no good, no use. I'm sure there's a billion other words that you could write into the chat box that has been used. But menopause is not a disease. It's a really beautiful life phase. And I think it's a time of wisdom and intuition. I think it's really a phase that we come into, really coming into ourselves. Like, we've been around for nearly half a century now. Some of us have reached the half century, and we're powerful, knowledgeable women. I'd like to also say that someone we know or someone we love will go through or is going through the menopause. So I'd love for this webinar as well, and forever, that we destigmatize menopause. We talk to our family and friends and work colleagues about it, our brothers, husbands, partners, and about how we feel. Mustn't hide our symptoms, because when we're younger, when we're going through like the beginning of the cycle, like in our puberty, 13, 14, like we were always excused for our moodiness. It was all just down to hormones. But it's exactly the same. We're on the other book end of it, and it's exactly the same thing. Our hormones are changing, and it makes us a bit all over the place and a little bit moody. And by speaking about what you're going through, it can make you feel much stronger, much more confident, and knowing that you're not alone on this journey. And that's really important. And that's why it's so brilliant to see you all here this evening, and that we're all here to support each other. And I know that sounds a bit cliche, but it's very important at this time that you don't feel isolated and alone, because that's a thing that a lot of clients that I see really feel, that they are alone in this process and that no one else is going through this. And it's important that you know that you're not. So often I would get asked this question: why do some of us suffer more than others? Well, I made a typo there. That should be you, not as in the text you. It should be why are you suffer more than others. So it could be from past experiences of mood disorders. It could be having a negative attitude, like you have a negative attitude from menopause and aging. And this is because of, sometimes it's from what we read in the press, sometimes it's what our friends say, or even what our family are saying to us. Current lifestyles, personalities and coping styles. You could have low self-esteem, a lack of support from family and friends. Going through menopause, strange things can happen to your body. Like you could suffer really badly from headaches. You could suddenly have this weight gain and not feel like you anymore, not have the energy to do things, like not have the energy to even think about losing the weight, and not having the energy to exercise, no motivation. All of these things can happen as you go through menopause. So often menopause is viewed in more positively in non-Western cultures, in which menopause removes constraints and prohibitions imposed on menstruating women. So this is in countries in which women have low status, are not allowed to show sexuality, so like women in India, some certain Muslim religions are very strict, and then the women are allowed out in public. They have to wear, you know, certain clothing that hides them. Whereas when they become, they've lost their childbearing years, they suddenly become this matriarch of the family, and they're the ones that are allowed now to drive, allowed to leave the house, allowed to go to the shops. So this is the time that they really celebrate this. So menopause provides them a freedom to go out in public and do things that were usually forbidden to them. So this is why for Western women, menopause is a celebration and not something that should be hidden and not talked about. Because Vodafone did a study about this, and 62% of women say that menopause affects them in the workplace. Imagine 62% of us not sleeping, having hot flushes, not being able to concentrate, having brain fog, you know, getting anxiety and overwhelm. And then you've got to go to this big meeting or possibly getting a promotion. I had a client in with me again this week who was telling me she's actually quit her job because she can't cope with work and the stress of going through menopause. So it's my mission with her was we really worked on a plan to get her back up so that she can get back into the workplace and go forward with her career, because that's devastated her, that suddenly she's gone from this, you know, big job that she had to giving it up because she couldn't cope with what was happening to her, and she wasn't getting the right support. So by coming to me, she feels like she's being supported and it's helping her. So this is just some little interesting facts I put here. Western women report more hot flushes as a key symptom in menopause. Now there's various reasons for that. It can come down from your diet, stress, the amount of sleep that you're getting, the times that you eat. That's a vital thing for hot flushes. Japanese women tend to have more headaches, and they get cold. They feel very cold in themselves. Filipino women tend to have more headaches and fewer hot flushes. Men, women only experience cycle changes and no other symptoms. And this is true of Indian women as well. They tend to go through menopause with no symptomal changes. Asian women tend to not have hot flushes, but they think it's down to their diet too, where they have a lot of soy in their diet, but natural soy, not the modified soy. And that really can help as well. They really attribute that to menopause. Okay, so this is me. If you haven't met me before, I'm in the middle, and then my 3 kids and my partner, PJ. And I started this journey through my sister. And some of you may have heard this story before. But when my sister was 16, she was told she had to have major surgery on her back, and she was told that she could never have kids. And she met her husband, Jamie, when she was 23, and they weren't terribly careful. And he was told he couldn't have children as well. So they ended up getting pregnant when they were 23 or 24, and she had Josh. But during the pregnancy, I was in my training at the time and in my clinical year, and my college tutor told me that she was quite sick, and well, very sick actually. He pulled me to one side and told me she was very sick. He was a very this is through Chinese medicine. This is the power of Chinese medicine is immense, and this is something that I really want to share with you. He told me that she was very poorly. He didn't say what it was and that she needed help, but when she had Josh, she found this lump under her collarbone, and it just would pop out like a little pea. And it turned out to be a cancerous lump, and she had non-Hodgkin's cancer. And it was the size of your fist in underneath that was growing, and it had grown all in her lymph nodes. She went through 2 years of chemo treatment, and it was very tough on her. And at one stage we had a call to say that she wasn't going to make it through the night, but she's very strong, my sister, and she pulled through. But she wanted to have more children, and her periods had stopped from the chemo treatment. So she went on and had, I started working with her with Chinese medicine, and her periods started back, and she got pregnant, which was amazing for a girl that was told she could never get pregnant. So if you know anyone trying on this journey too, it's something that I can help with as well. So unfortunately, that pregnancy ended in miscarriage, and she did go right downhill. But her husband, he's a very lovely man, but he's kind of quite blunt. I'm very mad about Jamie. And he said to her, like, you've got to pull yourself together. You know, you've got me, you're alive, we've got Josh. What more could we ask for? So she did pull herself out of it, and we got working again with acupuncture and Chinese medicine. And she successfully went on, and she got pregnant again. And I think Tessa's met my niece and nephew. She actually had twins, Harriet and Freddie. They're now 16 years old. She had an incredible journey through her chemo and everything. And then, so this started my journey with helping women with fertility issues and with their cycle. And those women became older. They stayed my patients, and they went through menopause. And this is how I started really getting interested in menopause. And this is how my journey started. So these are some of the issues that I really find are major in perimenopause and menopause. Is sleep. Sleep is vitally important. Your liver health, your liver does an awful lot for us. It does more than we realize. It does a lot of detoxing. And as we age, as we head into our late 40s, early 50s, the liver function reduces slightly. It ages with us. So you have to think that, you know, as we age on the outside, our organs are aging as well. So we need to look after them. Hot flushes are a major thing. You are what you eat. Our diets. As we age, I don't know if you've ever had like an aunt or a granny or an uncle or someone in your family, I'm sure you have, that says, oh, I can't eat that because it doesn't agree with my stomach, or it's too, doesn't agree with me. So, and then you could find that those type of things can happen to you as well. Also affects your mental health. And, you know, estrogen, progesterone are going down, they're reducing in our systems. Now, our body can cope with that, but it's when we're not sleeping, when our livers aren't functioning properly, when our mental health, when our mindfulness is all over the place, then our estrogen and progesterone, our hormones become under severe pressure, really bad pressure. So these are some of the typical physical symptoms of menopause. Your hot flush and night sweating, your sleep, insomnia. So you might wake up in the middle of the night, typically 3-4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that as we go along. Incontinence, pelvic floor. This is a huge one, and this is one that Louise helps with as well. It's an embarrassing one, and I remember this happened to me when I had Amber. After I had her, I remember being at a hunt ball I was at a ball anyway somewhere, and jumping around, and I was like, oh my God, I can't hold my urine in. It's pretty awful. So, you know, it's something that needs to be addressed and not ignored, and you don't have to have this. Pain in your joints, in your muscles, vagina dryness. This is another huge one. I don't know if any of you listened to the Joe Joffrey show, but my heart was crying for some of these women who had this problem and had it from the early ages of 45 onwards, and it really affected them so badly mentally, because the thoughts of having sex was just not happening, and they had husbands, you know, and it's part of life to have sex. Heavy bleeding, this is another one. Headaches. Then you've got the emotional side of anxiety, depression, anger, fearfulness, and tearful. These are just some of the symptoms that are, you know, there's roughly 34 symptoms of menopause. So what type of symptoms do you suffer from? What catches you out? Put it into the chat box. Share with people what comes up for you, and I'll have a look here. I'll open it up to put my glasses on. You know, what are the symptoms that really affect you through your menopause? So mine would be pelvic floor, very heavy periods in my early 40s. That really was huge. Yeah, headaches. See, these are things that we can help with. Sleep and hot flushes. Overwhelm. Yeah, all of these things we can help with. Weight gain is a huge one. Sleepless nights, night sweats, brain fog. Yeah, all massive. So this is a little bit of, I'm mixing it a small bit with Chinese medicine and Western medicine. So I've researched a lot of both. So I look at an analogy like the chair. So your chair has to have 4 legs equally balanced, and then it sits on the floor properly and you don't fall off it. But if your chair is not balanced, so the 4 legs of the chair are cultivation of the mind. So this is love and connection with your friends and family. Connection is massive. That you're eating a healthy diet, cultivation of your body. So this is through exercise, rest, and play. You know, play is like meeting your friends, going out, enjoying yourself. And the 4th one is sleep. Those 4 things have to be balanced. And if they're not, your chair is going to fall over. It's not as it should be. So again, I put this in here because I feel that we have a need of the 8 human needs. So we have the need of breathing air. I was going to say drinking air, of breathing air. And by breathing air, by taking your deep breaths in, that actually reassures every single cell in your body that you are in a safe place, that you don't have to be in flight and fight mode. It also helps through the day if you take 5 or 6 really deep breaths in. It also helps you, your cortisol levels, it stops them rising up. And if you have too high cortisol, this is from your stress hormone, if that's too high, it means that you mightn't sleep as well that night. So the breaths in help with that. Water, drinking water. Again, I find quite a lot of my patients come in and you can tell, or I can tell if I do a Zoom call with them, that their skin is very dry. So drinking water, and they go, oh, I can't drink water, can't drink it. But drinking water, when you get up in the morning, if you have a glass of water beside your bed and you drink that first, because you dehydrate in the nighttime, that's 1 glass done. And then you go into the kitchen, and instead of having a cup of coffee straight away, have a glass of water. Save your coffee for an hour. Allow the adrenal and cortisol to move in. That can help. And then you've had 2 glasses of water. Maybe through the middle of the morning, have another glass. Set your phone on a timer so that reminds you to drink water. Have a bottle with you, because I think a glass bottle is probably the best. And I think if you have that with you, you tend to drink more water because it's there in front of you. Sleep, that's massive. Getting 8 hours sleep a night is very important, because this is when you do your restore and reparative work. Food, eating the right nutrition is hugely important. The right exercise is massive as well. Sun, because of your vitamin D. Your nutrients, these are your building blocks. This is what gives you your ground, the bottom, the foundation of you. And community. I cannot stress how important it is to have community, to be connected to your friends. They are your lifeline. They are the people that will keep us all going. So where do you guys think that you are lacking in those 8 human needs? Which area would you like more work in? Is it sleeping? Is it drinking more water? Again, type in the chat box where you think it's needed. And I'll look here again. I have to keep moving this around. So for me, the one I had to, sometimes I slip on is exercise, because I get involved, you know, I could be doing research work on my laptop and I don't move around. Yeah, that's, and you know, work on my food, what I eat. I definitely, yeah, all of them. That's very funny. Yeah, but that's important. Community, chatting to your friends is vitally important, and it's more important than, you know, texting is not good. It's actually picking up the phone. Yeah, exercise can be difficult, but it's about gentle exercise. It's about bringing it in and doing it gently.
What to do.
So I put this quote in here, and I love it. If you could even just take a screenshot of it and think of this. So I am balanced and peaceful in all changes of cycle, and I bless my body with love. It's very important that we do actually like ourselves and love ourselves. So menopause creates a lot of uncertainty. So there's massive changes in our body. We gain weight. We can be all over the place with our moods, and we can have, you know, lack of sleep. So this lack of sleep really depletes our energy, and it creates a lot of hot flushes. If you don't eat, it's a kind of a vicious cycle. So if you don't have the energy to sleep, you don't sleep well. So you can't get to sleep. And then you wake up in the nighttime feeling really hot. So how would you guys, you know, say like on a scale of 1 to 10 in energy, where would you put yourselves? Again, type in the chat box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, wherever you would put yourself on the energy scale. Because energy is really important. I'm gonna look here. Yeah, so it means that like there's a, I have to put my glasses on again, sorry. So a lot of you are kind of in the middle. So that means that you're actually only running at about 50%. So it's about getting more energy, and you get your energy from your sleep. You get your energy from communicating with people. You get your energy from the food that you eat and the way you think as well. So this was me 10 years ago. My periods were all over the place. I remember when I was about 41 or 2 and having to go and collect the kids from school, and not actually worrying about leaving the house because of really heavy periods, like flooding. So I'd be, you know, worried that I just wouldn't make it there, and there would be, you know, blood on my underwear and through my clothing or on my car seat. I was waking up in the night really hot, sweating in my sleep, and my energy was really affected. So this is why I have brought all this together, and it's what I've been researching and working on for the last 25 years since working with my sister. And what I've done is I've condensed everything down, and using like formulas, using Chinese medicine and Western medicine and I did lifestyle coaching to create help for women. This is why this is here. So I'm going to look at sleep now. So how much sleep do you get every night? Again, type in the chat box how many hours. These are important questions to ask yourself. Do you feel rested in the morning when you wake up? Ideally, you should wake up in the morning and feel completely rested. You should feel like you could jump out of bed with lots of energy. And did you know that the most important thing for sleeping is your morning routine? When you wake up in the morning, it's very important to get daylight in your eyes, get the sunlight. I know it's harder in the winter, but get sunlight in your eyes or a bright light on, because that tells your body to turn off the melatonin and kick in.
It's do its own thing. It'll tell you when it's finished. It should be flashing on the.
Grania, will you just chat?
Well, just try and open the door. If the door doesn't open, it's not ready.
Will you put on your mute, or maybe I can mute? Can I mute? I can. There we go. So your morning routine, your sleep routine starts in the morning. So when you open your eyes and you get daylight in them, it turns off the melatonin, and also it kicks in your cortisol and adrenals. And this is important, an important start to your hormones. And plus, you need energy to go to sleep. It's very important. So sleep is as important as water and healthy food, and we spend a third of our lives sleeping. So I put this rule in, which is, it's here. So the rule of 3. So we can survive 3 minutes without air. We can do 3 days without water and 3 weeks without food. But did you know we can only do 10 days without sleep before our body starts to, break up and burn? It crashes, or organs give up. So that's how important it is. So the benefits of sleep for you are your brain function, your vitality, weight loss. This is a huge one. Weight loss happens when we're sleeping. It also, I do a little, and visualize this analogy. So when you're sleeping, I always think that you're in that REM sleep, when you're really fast asleep, and there's all these little men in your brain cleaning it up. So they're sending the toxins down. What happens is your brain slightly shrinks when you're sleeping, and it shrinks and it allows the toxins to go down the spine, and it goes down into the liver and down into the kidneys to be flushed away. So if you imagine this is happening, but if you are waking up in the middle of the night, the 3 o'clock time, which is the liver time in Chinese medicine, I'm going to show that in the next slide. This is not, you're not getting rid of the toxins, you're not storing memory, and you're not repairing your body, your muscles, and any aches and pains that you have. Sleep also helps your cognitive performance. It balances your hormone. And as we know, often there's a saying that everything is so much better after a really good night's sleep. So this is a great thing to say. Again, take a screenshot of this. I lovingly release the day and slip into a peaceful sleep, knowing tomorrow will take care of itself. I think sometimes, and I know this with some of my patients that come into me, that they find it very difficult to sleep. And we work on the remedies that can help them. Magnesium is something that you can take to really help with sleep. But it's also giving yourself permission that it's okay not to worry about things that are worrying you, and that it's okay to sleep. So I'm going to look at liver health. Now, the liver in Chinese medicine is called the general, and he plays a massive, I'm saying he plays a massive part in your body. So the liver time is here. It's between 1 and 3 a.m. in the morning. And this is why it's so important that you're sleeping at this time. So the liver and the gallbladder work together. So the gallbladder time is between 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. So ideally, you should go to bed around 10, 11 o'clock and sleep till 7, 8 o'clock every day. You should keep that routine in, because that's your circadian rhythm. That keeps your routine going. But if you're starting to wake at 1 and 3 in the morning, your liver becomes disturbed. They call it the hot old soul, and it floats around your body, and it creates tossing and turning, hot flushes, night sweating. It creates your brain to be racing. So it's very important that we look after our liver health and get that sleep between 1 and 3 a.m. And the liver's job is to rid the toxins as you sleep, and it loves the taste of sour. So something like a lemon or a lime is really what the liver loves. So it's really good to drink water with lemon or lime juice in every morning. Liver is really about smooth movement in your body. So that's not just on a physical level, but on a mental and emotional level. And the emotion is anger. Now, a certain amount of anger is really, really healthy, but too much anger is not healthy at all. It can fester and create all sorts of problems. So if you're a person that holds things in, it's very important that you let things out. The color is green. I had a patient actually who came to me with this feeling of something stuck in her throat. And it was really, she wasn't talking about her emotions. She had them locked in and they weren't able to come out. So in Chinese medicine, it's called a plum chi throat, and it wouldn't allow her to verbalize stuff. It just was stuck here. And it felt like she was choking. And because she had that feeling of choking, it was creating anxiety for her. It was stopping her eating. It was stopping her sleeping because she hated the feeling of lying back. Now that lady is doing really, really well now. She is sleeping, she can swallow, she's back eating, and she's in a much happier place. But it was just like, we did work together on the liver, and this is what helped her to get back to this place. So the liver is called the general in Chinese medicine, and it lives just under the bottom of the rib cage. And what happens is when it gets frustrated and angry, it kind of goes on the march, and it marches off to the stomach. This is the first place, because in Chinese medicine, the body is split into 3 areas: 3 jowls, upper, middle, lower jowl. And the middle jowl is where the liver, stomach are living. So it goes across and it creates PMT signs. So your headache, your stomach, your cramping pre and post period and during the period. It creates mood changes, causes nausea, bloating, fullness, constipation, diarrhea. It can, can even go into really serious diseases like Crohn's disease, diverticulitis. All of these type of diseases come from suppressed emotion in the liver. You're holding things in. If it hasn't done enough damage there, then it marches up to the heart, creates palpitations, anxiety, heart disease. The liver has a lot of things it is responsible for when it's not housed peacefully. So it's about allowing things to move freely around your body, and physically and mentally. So again, your gut health is very important as you go through menopause. And do any of you recognize any of these things happening to you, like irritable bowel syndrome, irregular cycles, headaches, migraines? Itchy skin is another one. Another client of mine came with really bad itchy skin, like she was just driven demented. She was like, even when she was with me, she was like scratching away. And so it was to do with her hormones and what she was eating. So we worked a lot on that, and she got better. She really did get better after about 6 weeks. It was amazing. Palpitations, anxiety, high blood pressure. Do any of you have any of these? Are you on any high blood pressure medication or anything like that because of menopause or because of irregular periods? So these are things that we can address. Do any of you have any of these symptoms? I'm going to learn the chat box again. Write it in. Yeah, irritable bowel. Headaches. Headaches are a big thing, especially during menopause. And it's something that I go through a lot. So again, this is actually from my client I was just telling you about. I forgot this was here. So she says, "Hi Lucy, just updating you on my hot flushes, and the rash has finally gone now. I still have a bit of itch, but it's dying away, and I'm sleeping great even in this roasting hot weather." This was in the summer. Remember, we had that really lovely weather for a few weeks, and I can't remember when it was. So estrogen, I'm going to talk a little bit about estrogen. Estrogen is brilliant. It gives our brain energy. It's our happy hormone. It helps with our libido. It promotes well-being and happiness. It supports the bone, the brain, the muscles, the heart, sleep, skin, and your metabolism. So if you think of each little cell in your body has an estrogen receptor, so it's used to estrogen coming in and docking in and supplying it with estrogen. But because we are now in estrogen decline, and also we get a lot of sort of fake estrogen from foods we eat, from milk, from different products that we use on our skin and hair. So that's why Western women tend to go through menopause a couple of years later than women, say in India or other countries that don't have this access to all of this Western world stuff, because generally we go through 7-year cycles, 7, 14, 21, etc., all the way up to 49, and that's generally when menopause is meant to happen. But because we have all this excess estrogen, it doesn't. And I think that's a reason as well why we have the fluctuating estrogen going on. So imagine now when we have estrogen decline, we don't have the same energy going on in our brain. The estrogen isn't docking into the cells in the body. So you can see why we suddenly have all these problems going on. We have other ways of getting estrogen. Progesterone. So progesterone helps inflammation in the body. So it stops the inflammation happening. It builds muscles, it promotes your sleeping, it protects you against heart disease and calms the brain. So again, you can see what happens when the progesterone levels reduce in our body. We have more inflammation going on there. So certain foods that we eat, don't agree with us. Certain exercises that we do don't agree with us. And again, stress, oxidative stress in our bodies create inflammation. Our muscles, that's why we can lose our muscle tone. It's, you know, because progesterone is the calming element in our cycle, you can see that we mightn't be as calm, so it goes against sleeping, heart disease, and we know calming going on in our brain. So as we go through menopause, our brain has, you know, has to recalibrate itself by 25%, and it has to learn to get estrogen, progesterones in other ways in our body. So I love this quote: during the menopause transition, a woman's brain may feel a little off, a little muddy, but when the transition passes, the clouds clear and the fog lifts. Sometimes all a woman needs to know is this too shall pass. And it does. With, I know this is something that I help you with, and it does go away. It really does. You know, I know myself that if I don't eat the right foods, if I eat at the wrong time, if I eat when I'm tired, the wrong foods, or I do too much, if I'm exhausted, this has an impact on how I feel, how I sleep, and how I wake up in the morning. So food, you eat for your energy, you eat for nutrition, you eat for your sense of well-being, and you eat for your mood. 90% of your serotonin, this is your good mood hormone, is created in your stomach. So if you eat well, you actually have, you know, you create more kind of well-being within you. So ways to know that your gut health is off is like bad breath, gum disease, types of stools. So if your stool is very dry or hard, or if it's very if you have diarrhea, runny, and if there's a smell to it, bloated, especially after eating, poor memory, brain fog, easily gaining weight, sugar cravings is massive, or if you find it hard to lose weight, again, put in the chat box if any of these things are affecting you, because this could be down to your gut health. Gut health is huge, and the microbiomes in your stomach are massive. And again, put my glasses on and see what kind of things are coming up for you. Gut microbiomes help the nutrients, you know, get nutrients from your food. So we have loads, billions of them in our stomach. And sometimes when our gut health is not balanced, the number of beneficial microbiomes is reduced and other microbiomes can increase. So it becomes an imbalance within your system. So eating foods that help balance this up is vitally, again, of huge importance to you. Antibiotics can kill microbiomes, the good ones, but we need antibiotics, but it's really knowing what to eat to supplement them to get the microbiomes that you do need back up and running. So poor gut or sugar, this is about sugar. So sugar in our system, too much insulin resistant, these are all words I'm sure that you may have heard of. So if you think about too much sugar in our diet, impacts our ability to get a good night's sleep. It makes you more restless during your sleep, and you can wake during the night, and it stops you from getting to sleep. Again, like sugar is a huge thing. And I remember when I was a young girl that we used to use sugar as a reward for what we would be, you know, if we did something good, or you took your spoonful, so you took a spoonful of medicine, and then mom would give me a spoonful of sugar to wash it down with. Even that song from Sound of Music, Mary Poppins, I think it's Mary Poppins. So I would have used sugar as a reward for boredom, or if you're a little bit unhappy, you can go to this. The problem with sugar is that if we have too much of it in our body, our pancreas is creating too much insulin. And when we have too much insulin in our systems, our liver can't process it enough, and it becomes like really sticky and gluey, and it blocks up our blood vessels. So if you think of insulin like lots of cars. So the pancreas is banging out all these little red cars, and your cells are like garages, car parks all around your body. So every cell you can park so many cars in, but suddenly that cell is full, so they go to the next one. That one's full, so they go to the next one. That one's full. So suddenly you've got all this excess insulin, or these little cars blocking up your bloodstream. So you can see what happens. So your pancreas is working hard to get rid of it, but it's creating more of the problem. And then it gets really tired and it gives up. And then you get into like diabetes 2. This is what happens. I hope that makes sense. So that's why sugar, and we just can't process it like we used to, because our body is aging. That's the problem. So I'd really love to share with you what I can do with you, for you. And really together, it's our goal is to help you rediscover your health, your vitality, your energy, so that you feel well in yourself. So I'd like you just to close your eyes for a minute. Just close your eyes and really visualize what this would feel for you. Like, feel like if you had got a whole night's sleep, how you'd feel when you woke up in the morning. You'd feel energized, jumping out of bed, ready to face the day. You have more energy for your husband, more energy for your love life, more energy to go out and meet your friends. You can wear what you like because you've lost that excess weight that you've gained during this. The headaches aren't stopping you anymore from enjoying yourself. You know, you're setting goals for your future holidays because you know you can go away. You're not worrying about peeing your pants because your pelvic floor is all over the place. You know, you've got great concentration. You've been promoted in your job. Really visualize these things. Really, really put yourself in that position. And let me know, you know, does this feel good to you? Type it in the chat box if this is the life you'd like to lead. So this is what I've designed. I have this program called the Happy Health Life program. And in the program, I go through a module on sleep, a module on detoxifying your liver, getting your liver healthy. I look at kidney health. I actually didn't touch very much on this evening, but kidney and adrenals, because sometimes as we are post-menopause, it's adrenal fatigue that needs addressing. Hot flushes and night sweating, that's a big one. I have one on natural HRT and a stress busting plan. Plus I have bonus modules here on vaginal dryness and headaches. These are all things that I go through. I also look at, with this program, you get weekly emails from me. We do a discovery call through the course to see how you're getting on, what help you need, what areas you need, and we look at the 8 human needs together and see what we need to work on. And it's that we have a routine that's set up for you. So this isn't just for, it's over a 12-week period, but it's not just for the 12 weeks, it's for the rest of your life. These are, you need to work on all of this. The more I research it, the more I understand that anything that we do, we have to continually do it. We have to keep working at it, working at our mental health, working at our fitness, working at what we eat, because if we don't, we fall by the wayside. So these are things that it's not just, this isn't, you know, just for 12 weeks, it's forever. This is what I created it for. So you can go back and keep looking at it and do as much as you like. And this is,
it's Lucy here. I just wanted to drop one of the bits. I just wanted to say this.
and so these are other people that I've helped along the way. So she says here, I can't thank you for all you've done for me over the last few months. You will never know just how much you've helped me. I know I will have bad days, but now I know how to deal with them. why they're happening, and that most importantly, they are just bad days, not the world. And this is from another patient, happy patient, thank goodness. I'm now sleeping for an extra 2 hours each night. Really great friends of ours called over a few nights ago, and I stayed up till after midnight. It was so great to see them, but all I could think of was my 2 hours of missed sleep. I have more energy, less pain, and able to maintain the changes in my diet. So this is what I usually charge for this course, 647, but because I really want to help you guys and, you know, really get as many women as possible to start their journey to feeling good in themselves and empowered. I'm doing it for 179, and you can do it in 2 payments if you want. This is the link here. This is just, again, what I will be going through, just sleeping, because a lack of sleep really has a huge, massive effect on your hormones, your energy, and how you feel, tiredness, you know, you can't think straight. So I don't want that for you anymore. Menopause-induced anxiety. This is rise because of low progesterone and estrogen environment, and it affects the sympathetic nervous system, which controls the heart rate, blood pressure, and temperature. This is something that I go a lot into in my program. Late nights and busy lifestyles. This sends the body's natural circadian rhythm out of balance. And sleeping, again, sleep is huge. It's my first module in my program. What I've tried to do is make the modules so you get the most benefit in that order. I've really thought about this and put it together. Poor diet, eating at the wrong times, all affect menopause and hormone health. I've got in here as well, I put in some life coaching tips to help with work and personal life. So you'll know how to deal. You'll have like a toolbox with you. You know what to do. And also knowing about what exercise you need to take, because sometimes the wrong exercise can increase and inflame your muscles and joint pain, and knowing about low aerobic exercise and fitness is very important. So this is another person that I've helped. Lucy is a very gifted coach. I've been struggling in a few areas of my life and didn't realize how much pressure and stress I'd been putting on myself. She's very comfortable and reassuring approach that helped me understand things in my life without me feeling judged or condemned at all. She brought me back to a breakthrough of resting in the fact that I can just be me. And I think that's so important for women, just to be them. And, you know, we are who we are. We have aged, but we're still beautiful, and it's important. It was like a weight has lifted off my shoulders. I highly recommend Lucy as a coach, especially if you're having issues that you just can't seem to put your finger on. So this is beautiful, Joe, and yeah, we did a lot of work together. It was brilliant. So this is my course. This is my program. All you have to do is give the link a click, and that will bring you into the program. And it would be a really good decision if you do this, and once you sign up, you can start straight away, and I'm here all the time to help you. You won't be alone going through this journey. So that's it there. If you've any questions, please let me know. Come off speaker and let me know if you want any questions answered or anything like that. Now, what I will do as well is I will share that link into the chat box for you. I just have to get off of this here and stop sharing the screen for a second. There we go. Now, so has anyone any questions? Does anyone have anything they want to ask me about the course or what I do or anything like that? Anything at all? I'm just gonna link up here because I forgot to copy and paste it. Sorry, that's
okay. I have a quick question or a comment. The more and more I'm learning about the menopause and perimenopause, I'm looking at older generations and I'm thinking, you know, arthritis, knee replacements, all of that. Is that because they didn't understand the role of hormones?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. Sometimes arthritis is a hereditary disease, and sometimes it's from, you know, not eating healthy and hormones. Essentially, a lot of it's down to hormones. It's amazing how much it is. The more and more I look into it, the more it is. But it's to do with what you're eating, your sleep, your exercise, also to do with maybe your job. So you could be someone who works outside a lot and get very cold hands, say, and then arthritis comes from the external factors inside. But a lot of it comes from inflammation within the body. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for tonight.
No problem. I really hope you join my course. It's be really beneficial. So, any more questions from anyone? Thank you for coming as well. It's very good of you to come. It's a good decision to be here anyway. So it is. I'm just going to check if anyone put anything in the chat box.
Lucy,
Yes,
thank you so much. It was fantastic. Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, I really enjoyed that. I would recommend your course to anybody because you're so clear, I really enjoyed it.
Thank
One
you.
of the best menopause webinars I've ever been to. So thank you so much for sharing. It's been brilliant.
Thanks, Louise. Thank you. Thank you.
I will definitely be recommending you to all my clients.
Oh, you're a star. Thanks so much.
Back off mute there. We back off mute.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so if no more questions, you have my email and you can mail me, or if you want a private talk with me or anything like that, just send me a message anytime and I can help. That would be great. Okay. Okay, thanks so much everyone for coming. Thank you.